We've all heard of Superman. He's a universal symbol of heroism, hope, and courage for as long as he's existed. And there's one symbol that represents that like no other. And of course, talking about the sun. Oh, that was not in the fucking weather forecast. Putting that minor malfunction aside for now, it's not exactly a big secret that the sun is often associated with the monolithic hero. Plot-wise, it's the energy source of all of his otherworldly powers, but it's also connected to him in an oftentimes more subtle way that stories featuring the character tend to overlook. But that's where the newest Superman, directed and written by James Gunn, quite literally shines, as his implementation and interpretation of the sun's relationship and representation of Superman is in full force throughout. Specifically, there's one scene near the end of the movie that exemplifies my point quite well, but first a few examples from throughout the movie showing how Gunn builds this link between the two. This scene is quite simple, showing Superman being healed by a focused blast from the sun as he's recovering from his first failed fight as a superhero. Outside of establishing that the sun is his major power source, it also sets up the sun being a very important element, being the last resort / hope for Superman both literally and figuratively. Now, this scene takes place much later in the story, as Superman has just barely escaped an alternate dimension prison, where his archenemy locked him up and threatened to kill every person important to him. He's resting up in his childhood room, and in the window, we see the sun shining through, another reinforcement of how the sun is there when his belief in himself is at its lowest. Wish the sun was here when my grade might be at its lowest. Anyway, finally, we have the scene that I believe to be the most crucial point of the sun as a symbol in this movie. After thwarting Lex's plans, he delivers an awe-inspiring speech to Lex that has a familiar light to it. Take a look.
You piece of shit alien!
That is where you've always been wrong about me, Lex. I'm as human as anyone. I love, I get scared, I wake up every morning and despite not knowing what to do, I put one foot in front of the other and I try to make the best choices I can. I screw up all the time. But that is being human. And that's my greatest strength. And someday, I hope, for the sake of the world, you understand that it's yours too.
So by now I think you understand the point I'm getting at. The sun throughout this movie, but especially in that scene, is a little physical manifestation of Superman's ability to inspire hope. Whenever that hope was challenged, the sun was right there to remind him why and what he was fighting for. And every blindingly bright light in this movie reminds us to have a little more hope. Sorry I couldn't show you guys the sun. That was like my whole bit for this video. But I guess that's kinda ties in though, huh? I'm feeling pretty crappy now, but I know the sun, and my hope, will be back. And honestly, that's enough for me.